What is the most hilariously inaccurate fact someone has told you? It's possible to breathe underwater. She then tried to demonstrate and snorted a bunch of lake water up her nose. She was 14 at the time. That's like the truism of babies born in a birthing pool can live their whole lives underwater if they don't surface and take a breath. Well yeah, just their whole life is incredibly short. A woman at a party I was attending over a decade ago insisted that the largest member of the rodent family is the polar bear. I looked at her in absolute disbelief and replied that they weren't rodents, they were freaking bears. She had a PhD, too, SMH. This almost feels like one of those crazy facts that you think there's no way is true but kind of is by a technicality. Like I could say palm trees are grass. They aren't actually grass, but they are monocots like grass and are more closely related to grasses than woody trees, so if you skip a couple steps you could try to pass it as a fun fact. I was talking to a guy at the bar and he was telling me how soap is unnecessary for washing your hands. All you need is a combination of hot water and cold water, not warm, but use both cold and hot. I did not shake his hand. This is quite scientifically sound. When you alternate between the temperatures rapidly, the dad microbe begins shouting about the thermostat and he's not made of petri dishes and all the young bacteria roll their eyes so hard they die, like Galileo discovered it, or something. My roommate tried to convince me that there are chimpanzee people in the jungle because isolated tribes are getting it on with the monkeys. I tried to explain how species reproduce and quickly realized he thinks you can bang a horse and get a centaur. My ex was telling me how, if a male lion has a broken leg and he fathers cubs, they will all have a broken leg when they're born. Also, I had a co-worker who claimed there was a human-sized jackrabbit near the bus stop she used to take bus to work, and that she saw it all the time. An ex-boyfriend once insisted that women can hold in their periods like we can hold our urine. He did not believe me, a woman, when I told him that was absolutely not the case. What? I've had a similar conversation, although luckily I was able to convince him otherwise. I told him that when you have a cut on your arm, it just bleeds and you can't control it, so you put a bandage on it. Had a friend try to tell me and a group of friends that every single red robin was off on exit 3 from the highway. We tried to tell her that no, it was just a coincidence that she saw 2 like that or something. Then when asked do you know how exits work, she replied yes, every time there's a red robin, they make it an exit 3 inches. WTF. I live near a red robin, can confirm that your friend is wrong. The shape of the banana and the way it fits your hand so well are proof that God exists. He stopped using that argument when one of our co-workers pointed out that dongs fit hands pretty well too. When you go to Liverpool and start singing a Beatles song, everybody will join in like it's some Disney movie. The guy was dead serious. Now I want this to be true. Not me but my mum. She was walking with a group of friends on a popular trail in the UK. She has quite an outspoken friend. Let's call her Sally. The group saw a number of Chinese tourists taking pictures of the sheep along the trail. One of the group asked, "I wonder why they are all taking pictures of sheep all the time." To which Sally replies, "It's because they don't have sheep in China." The group all believed Sally and thought it was an amazing fact. My mum decided to regurgitate the fact one dinner time saying that Sally had told her so. I called bulls so googled it there and then. Turns out China has the largest population of sheep in the entire world. My mum has never lived that down. 1. Neighbor told me he attended an international medical conference for work and he learned that women were catching diabetes in their feet because of the sandals that they wear in the summer. 2. Little sister's friend said that a contestant on a singing show like X Factor came second after the finale because the contestant who won stole his phone and turned it off so he wouldn't get his votes when people texted in. The first one can be explained as he didn't comprehend the people talking and it might just be diabetics had issues with the shoes they wore because of some reason related to the diabetes. The second one, please tell me this was a child or young teen. That is just stupid. The band name KISS is an acronym for Knights in Satan's Service. AC/DC equals anti-Christian devil children. Slayer equals Satan laughs as you eternally rot. All told to us without irony by a Sunday school teacher, circa 1987. Okay, but Knights in Satan's Service sounds like a badass band. My ex argued that fossils weren't actually old and those creatures never existed, they were just stuck there to confuse us. It's to test your faith. Yeah, no thanks, I have no desire to be gaslit by a sky wizard. This is a story that is too long to type in full, but I once got into a disagreement with some random dude at an A&W because he thought that 1/4, 1/4 was more than 1/3, 1/3. His reasoning was that since 1/4 has a 4 and 1/3 has a 3, and 4 is 1 unit higher than 3, then 1/4 is more than 1/3. The worst part was that in order to prove him wrong, I asked the cashier girl which weighed more. She didn't know. Then I asked the next person in line. That idiot said 1/4. Do you have any idea how infuriating it is to have a complete idiot think that he's smarter than you because everyone in the room is just as dumb as he is? This is exactly why Wendy's switched their standard burger from 1/3 to 1/4. Too many people complained that 1/3 was smaller. Catholic school teacher, nun, explains that raped women can't get pregnant because God wouldn't let that happen. Therefore, if they did get pregnant, it must have been consensual. That's a whole freaking new level right here. Someone once told me that it never snows in the state of Washington because it's on the West Coast. Same person also told me that she doesn't believe in gravity because if it was real, well, the sun just suck up the moon. She was 24 when she said these things to me. Wait until she finds out that the 1960 Winter Olympics were held in California. That you can live off drinking seawater because Gatorade has sodium in it. I was telling this dude about a guy who was stranded out at sea for a while and survived by drinking rainwater and shark blood or some crap. And dude was like, why didn't he drink the seawater? Gatorade has sodium in it and it's fine. It's a myth that you can't drink seawater. Probably so they can keep charging people for drinking water. That masturbating will give you hairy palms. I had a teacher in high school tell us this, and the number of guys and girls who checked their hands immediately was hilarious. I had to really slam on the brain filter to keep from doing it myself, but you better believe I examined my hands thoroughly in the bathroom after class. I really hope someone glued hair onto their palms ready for the next class with that teacher. An old boss explained to me one day that hearing men sing causes women's brains to release some kind of sex hormone that makes us crazy. This is why girls and women screamed and fainted over the Beatles back in the day and why we get all hysterical at concerts. He said it in this really condescending tone, too, like he was dropping some deep knowledge on me that I probably wouldn't understand, but that's how he explained most things anyway. Freaking hated that idiot. I knew a guy who thought he could get a girlfriend by bringing very large photography lenses into clubs and pointing them at women because they are seduced by the phallus shape and like the attention. He also wore a fedora and a suit in 90-degree weather and had this kind of weed whacker mustache. I admired his charisma and brazen stupidity. I was embarrassingly old when I realized a local street wasn't named after my granddad. Quick preamble. In Canada, they have small abbreviations in both languages to indicate road, lane, boulevard, etc. So, the sign for Smith Road might say, CH Smith RD, meaning, Shaman Smith Road. Our family name is McCoy and we grew up in a very rural area. Near my home, there is a sign indicating, CH Coy RD. My dad casually told me it meant, Charlie Coy Road, after my grandfather. My whole life I've heard people refer to him as Charlie Coy, although he is called Charles McCoy. I'm even bilingual, you guys. The US also abbreviates roads. Some roads have an E abbreviation for east and a W for west. When I lived in Michigan there was a street called EG Road. I always thought it was East G Road, when in reality it was EG Road. To make this even more confusing, on the other side of town there is an East G Saint. That mind over matter was real, meaning that you could lift objects with your mind, etc. It was a great conversation. You can do all kinds of stuff with your mind. Me. Like what? Lift things, bend spoons, etc. Me. Okay, cool. Can you bend something for me? Well no, my mind isn't that good. Me. Then why should I listen to you? My dad believes nano silver cures everything and truly believes in his nano silver throat spray. He says kings and emperors in the past drank from silver cups and that's how they had long, healthy lives. No they didn't. They had mostly short, often disease-riddled lives. A woman I worked with a long time ago told me that her proof of Christianity being the correct religion is that it was the first one. This is too funny. I mean many past religions aside, the Bible discusses Judaism, heck even Jesus was Jewish. My grandma wasn't very happy with the fact that I'm vegetarian, so she tried to convince me that fish were vegetables. I still can't help but laugh because she wasn't even joking. My roommate said very confidently at barbecue that meat is a potato. When I asked his reasoning, he told me that the substance to protein ratio was very high. What? My girlfriend told me that in the UK mocking the royal family is just not done, as if she's never seen a shred of British comedy. Being Jewish in the South, I have heard a lot of interesting takes on my religion. Here are my favorites. Jewish is that way you don't let your food touch, courtesy of a person seeing a rabbi on Dog the Bounty Hunter, I believe. Oh, you pray to Moses, right? Nope. Despite his claim to fame of having been portrayed by Charlton Heston, he was just a man. But you still celebrate Christmas, right? I don't think you understand what Christmas is. So do you have to put salt on all your food? Kosher salt is just a seasoning. My all-time favorite, Hitler didn't really do all that, did he? Seriously, 2-hour conversation with this incredibly stupid person who did not know what the Holocaust was. She also the Titanic was just a movie. The spork is the devil's utensil because it's the amalgamation of masculine fork and feminine spoon, trying to blur gender lines in society. Had someone come into a store to buy an air mattress, back in HS. She told me that science had proven that springs in the mattress remove energy from your body, and they could show through theme imaging. She also smelled like boiled hot dogs. A classmate of mine tried to tell the teacher that in the slave trade they took the Maya people and brought them to Asia to make them work on the ships. Blood is blue until it touches oxygen. It's not. I don't know where this came from. Your red blood cells carry oxygen through your body. A lot of people think this because your veins look blue through your skin. A lady told me that if you drink coffee while you are pregnant you will burn the baby, and that's how people got birthmarks. LOL, she is in her mid-30s and she truly believed this. Her, an astronomy major. Proxima Centauri is the closest star to the Earth. Me. Other than our sun. You mean her? No. Proxima Centauri is the closest star to the Earth. Me. Our sun is closer than another system's sun. Though. Her. No. Proxima Centauri is the closest star to the Earth. My roommate, who liked her, dude just drop it. A note, I dropped the subject because I knew my roommate was trying to smash. If you put a band-aid over an ant while it's crawling on you, it'll get absorbed into your skin, fuse with your DNA, and other ants will leave you alone there on fourth because they'll think you're one of them. This sounds like a bad superhero origin story. My parents tried to convince me that homosexuality is caused by vaccines. Little do they know that I'm gay even though they didn't have me vaccinated as a kid. I was told 40 years ago that the cooties shot specifically protected against the gay. Physicists couldn't explain how bees can fly. This was only 4-5 years ago. We were both fully functioning, voting adults. He honestly believed that scientists were just stumped on bees. That's cute. He watched the bee movie and was like, dope, I'ma spread some facts now. Here's mine, and I actually believed it for a little while. Probably 7th or 8th grade, a girl in my class informed me that men have a limited amount of sperm in their testes. Only about 400-500 feet of sperm if you laid it out. Gross. Also terrifying for a young me just starting to go through puberty. Was too embarrassed to ask my parents, so I didn't find out the truth until I did a little bit of ill-advised googling. My roommate told me, after we built a snowman during an unexpected cold snap, that it would last a really long time because packed snow takes ages to melt, and a snowman he built lasted from January to fricking August, outside, in the south. The reason why you can't find evidence of God on the internet is because Satan is in the wires that connects it and that he blocks that content from reaching your computer. When I laughed, we got into a 2-hour-long argument about how the internet works, which resulted into the end of the relationship. Dodge a bullet there. My friend argued that all eggs are brown when they come out of the chicken and only turn white after going through a chemical cleaning process. Later he also confidently explained that rats and bunnies can change their gender at will. I know some fish species can do it, but rats and bunnies? No XD. Don't tell them about the green and blue shelled eggs. The internet is in the sky. I explained how it's in the ocean. They ganged up on me and said it's called the cloud because it's in the sky. Duh. It was 3 of them versus 1 of me. I walked away losing the debate. There's power in numbers, folks. Those 3 probably make up 1 brain cell. Went to New York on a band trip in high school. A boy tried to impress me with the fact that the Statue of Liberty is made of gold and they painted it green so people wouldn't steal it. He was also adamant that all the mummies in the Met are elaborate fakes and the real ones are stored in bunkers 5 stories below ground to protect people from ancient diseases. He then thought I would be so impressed by his knowledge I would date him. Not a chance. There is a pervasive urban legend in my country region that describes how Neil Armstrong heard the Islamic call to prayer when he walked on the moon. Oh, and there's also the perennial story about Bruce Lee being defeated by a local martial arts master, which eventually led to Lee's death. Oh my god, I legit just got into an argument with a pal about whether semen dies when it hits the air or not. I don't even want to know how many accidental children he's created at this point. Sperm can actually survive up to 5 days in the female reproductive tract. It can survive a few hours outside the body, same with plain warm water. However, if it ends up in very hot water or water with some chemicals in it, it dies almost instantly. That the theory of evolution couldn't be true because if all organisms descended from some single-celled organisms, a human would be able to mate with a chicken. This was a high school biology teacher. You'd really think a biology teacher, of all people, would know better. When I was about 11, one of the older guys who must have been only 14, but he was older, so authority and all that, told me that because girls don't have a penis, they see M from their butthole. Despite the fact it sounded odd, even at that age, I couldn't really say he was bullshitting me with any conviction. The fetus consumes the menstrual blood for nutrients. That was his explanation for why women don't experience their period during pregnancy. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.